Hi, this is Ben Ivy, the fulfillment artist. And in this video, I'm going to teach you what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So I've been an entrepreneur for a lot in my life. I started out very young, selling chocolates, buying boxes of Freddos for £4 and then selling them on, selling Fantas, Sprites. I did hoodies, pajamas, espadrilles. I did a bunch of different stuff in my childhood. And then, moving forward, I'd say the first proper business I had was, a big bag business that I ran. And it's tough. Being an entrepreneur is really lonely, and most people don't really get you and understand it when you first start out, because most of your friends aren't really entrepreneurs. And it's a strange journey to go on. Because you're looking at people who are, moving into jobs, they're moving on their 50K, their 40K, and everything's going really well for them, and it seems so easy. And then you're stuck and they're grinding every day, and you don't really have a work-life balance, you're just doing all this stuff. And when you first start out, you don't really know what to focus on. You focus on everything, you're like, okay, well, I pretty much know what to do. You get a product, you sell it, and you find customers, and it's really fascinating to go through it, and you learn so much along the way. I'm telling you now, you learn more as an entrepreneur than decades working for someone else. It is crazy how much you learn. Teaching myself, so for example, for my first business, I was doing the design, the sales, the marketing, the accounting, everything, and you learn that, wow, businesses take a lot to run. And some people make it seem really easy, but to actually work it out and to move in all these things, it gets really difficult. And, sourcing things, going on Alibaba, finding the right, people, and then sending, samples. I remember I was in China, I was sending samples from, Pakistan over, and it's a really, enjoyable, fascinating journey. But there are so many pros and cons, right? And if you're going into being an entrepreneur, you need to understand your why. I felt like the first proper business I was in, I knew my why. I really wanted to make, passive income. That was great, and that was a big why, and a lot of people have that. But my heart wasn't really in it. And it's fascinating because everyone has their own entrepreneurial journey. And there is no right or wrong. But if you're thinking about venturing out, something that I would say is just know that everyone is going to have their own opinion on what being an entrepreneur is like. And often it's glorified, and you see the end product. The end product, someone, they're doing really well, they're multi-millionaire, they're traveling the world. I wish I could be like that. And often we see people 20 years down the line and look at where they are, and we're not aware of everything they've done to get there. So something that's really important is you need to understand that it's a journey, and it's a long journey, and it's going to be hard. There are times where your friends are going to question you, where your family will question you, where you run completely out of money, where, I can't tell you how many different things have happened, where, things will happen that you were just like, how could that possibly happen? In my bag business, everything was doing well. I worked out everything, and I arrive in the UK, and then suddenly I have a 2K bill for taxes, and I'm like, what? Why? Since when? And that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. But you have to bear in mind, learning from people, being able to find your own resources. A lot of entrepreneurs, you learn to be very resourceful. Because when you start out, generally speaking, you're not going to have loads of money. So you learn to, do favors. You actually learn bartering. Oh, mate, can you design that, and then I'll help you with this? Or, oh, yeah, I'll give you, I don't know, I'll give you a certificate if you work with me for a week. Or, there's so many different factors that go into it, and you learn to be so resourceful and so careful. And to begin with, everyone starts out, it's very different, and it's all bushy-eyed, bright tail to begin with, and you're moving forward. But I want you to really understand that there are moments where it's going to really challenge you. So when you move into this, you've got to know why you're doing it, because that why is what's going to drive you when times are really hard. Because entrepreneurs are going to have ups, they're going to have downs. And it's in the downs where you really become an entrepreneur. Because anyone can do it when it's going right. It's when it's going shit, that's when you really start to move forward. And I remember in the second business, that basically VR app, and everything was doing well. And I couldn't afford to hire anyone in the beginning. You're literally just bringing people on. And it makes you so aware of like how important people are. Right? Being an entrepreneur will teach you everything about your strengths and weaknesses. People will bring up, because you work in close proximity. It's different to when you're giving orders. Right? You know, giving orders to people, taking orders, they're very different. They're completely different worlds. Like being a manager versus being an entrepreneur and setting up the business, finding partners. Like it's a wild, wild west, especially now with technology increasing. There are so many different factors you've got to take into account when doing it. But it is something that has been truly amazing. So with the second business, so many different learning points. And being able to travel, doing it in different countries, having an international team, running Skypes, that it's fascinating to see it. And as you start to spend time with people, you realize like, wow, everyone's just like me. They're all entrepreneurs in their different way. And you realize that even the people that run the top businesses, they're all human, they're all the same. They've all had similar journeys. Like if you talk to the people that you aspire to be like most, read some autobiographies. That's really powerful. You want to know what it's like to be an entrepreneur? Read like Richard Branson's autobiography. It's fascinating. Read, you know, some of the top entrepreneurs' autobiographies and you'll see the journeys that they go through. And it is a journey. And it's going to be completely like this. But you have to be strong internally to be able to deal with that. So once again, what's really important is understand your why. And like now with my why, it's really important, like for me, this is just how I perceive it. Was previously, it was, you know, financial freedom, do this. And I know lots of people out there are like that and they're successful. But the biggest drive for me is thinking long term. Like what is the long term thing that I really want to do? And then go ahead and create that. Because I know I'm going to be doing that for the foreseeable future instead of making a quick buck. And that vision and that drive and that why is really important. Even though you can have a strong why, you'll know when it's the right fit for you. You know when to take a step back and you'll know when to move it forward. So overall, if I were just to sum it up with loads of different words, it's going to be hard, it's going to be stressful, it's going to be time consuming as hell. There's going to be moments where you have no work-life balance. There's going to be moments where everything goes wrong. There's going to be moments where it just sucks and you think this is the worst thing ever. Why didn't I do that? Sounds good, doesn't it? But there's also moments where you're going to be like, I can't believe how lucky we were to get away with that. I cannot believe that, you know, I finally sold my first product. I can't believe that I finally have a team. I can't believe how much I'm growing and how much I'm learning. And there's going to be so many different things. So I would say being an entrepreneur is a fantastic journey in life. And for anyone who wants to go on it, you're going to have an amazing time. And if you're not, it may not be right for you. But just know if you're going on this journey, you've got to take the bad with the good. And know that it's going to be a journey that's going to be your own. And trust me, you will have so many stories to tell at the end. So what I would say is go out, do things, give it a go, but actually do it. Don't sit there with ideas. Don't be the guy that goes, oh, I have so many ideas, I just don't know where to start. Fuck you! Right, instead, just go for it. Go for an idea, see what happens, make it work, and you'll learn to pivot along the way. Another thing, read a bunch of books, learn from a bunch of people, and you'll be able to create the life that you've always wanted for yourself. So with that, thank you for listening. I hope you have a better understanding of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. I know there's lots of different stuff in there. But just know that at the end of it, it's your life. You can create the journey however you want, but just be aware of where it is that you're going to. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.